वर्णिवेशरमणीयदर्शनं मन्दहासरुचिरादनाम्बुजं पूजितं सुरनरोत्तमैर्मुदा धर्मनन्दनमहं विचिन्तये। प्रभु तव मूर्ति विनोदकारी, पलपन विसरे नहीं जो विसारी। जुगल चरण सोड़ चिन्ह जेह, नजर समीपे रहोय अमारी एह। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर, गुरु साक्षात् परम ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः, तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्री ठाकुर जी महाराजनी जय, श्री हरि कृष्ण महाराजनी जय, श्री घनश्याम महाराजनी जय, श्री सद्गुरुदेवनी जय, श्री 500 परमहंसनी जय। Supreme Almighty, our beloved Thakurji Maharaj, Piuda Ghansyam Maharaj, all the divine Sadgurus from our divine Muktanandiya Parampara, Pathmaker to our liberation Pujya Guruji, all Muktas of Loyadham Parivar, and all of you devotees, Jai Swaminarayan. We all are doing the Satsang. Whether we are coming in Mandir or while sitting in our home, we all as a devotee, we engage in the Satsang, either by doing or performing devotion to God or engaging in different Satsang activities. But the question arises, who can be said like he had developed complete Satsang? Or what can be said to develop the perfect or 100% Satsang? That is the question arising in our mind. Because when we see the group of devotees at the time, we can differentiate, like we can make more categories in different devotees, level of understanding, level of satsang, level of their mahima, level of their dedication towards satsang, etc., etc. Why this happen? And if this happen, so what remain left to those devotees who need to do something for acquiring 100%? That is the question. And this question asked by our Adi Gurudev Swami Shri, Satsang Nima Sadguru Sri Muktanand Swami, on behalf of us. Swami Shri had asked this question to Sriji Maharaj in Vachanamrut, Loya chapter 1. Swaminarayan Hare. Thereafter, Muktanand Swami asked, who can be said to have developed complete satsang? In this Vachanamrut, the title Nansanta had given this Vachanamrut itself, developing complete satsang. So this is the question. But before going to read the answer, let we try to understand by our own self. Next slide, please. Developing complete satsang. So first, we can understand what is developing. We can understand what is complete. But what is satsang? Satsang meaning sat and sang. That is two words in this word. So that's the verbal meaning dictionary meaning. But in actually, according to the Vachanamrut, Garuda last chapter 2, Satpurush no sang, that is satsang, meaning one's association with the Satpurush, that is called the satsang. So if this definition we considered for today's discourse, then the meaning of developing complete satsang, meaning imbibing all of his virtues, his meaning the Satpurush virtues. So if we try to acquire all of the divine qualities which only retain in the life of Satpurush, then that is called our practice to developing complete satsang in our life. So this is important because if we do not calculate our own self, which Sriji Maharaj himself had narrated in the Vachanamrut, if we do not calculate what is my position today in the satsang, meaning what kind of level of understanding in this satsang I possess. Moreover, how much bad habits, how much vices I can remove from the day when I entering the satsang up to today. So this is what the matter of calculation. Moreover, one can also calculate how much divine qualities acquire from this time. Just as one can make account for how much credit and how much debit, in the same way, we have to make the calculation of this thing. And if we made this calculation, then we, just as a merchant who had kept the account, and while calculating in the account, he can decide this much target or this much profit or this much amount of market share or profit, or meaning these kind of things the merchant desire to attain. In the same way, in the satsang, if we make calculation of our own self, like this much vices I can remove with the association of the Satpurus, and this much virtues I have acquired in my life, but still I need to acquire this much. So if we have this calculation, then we can definitely desire to attain more and more virtues in our life. And if we desire to attain more and more virtues in our life, then we try to imbibe those virtues. We at least find what is the way to acquire all those virtues in my life. So in the next slide, we can see acquire his divine qualities. That is called develop complete satsang. But the question arises, the Sadpurus has all the divine qualities in his life. And as a Jew, as a merely a devotee or as a spiritual aspirant, we do not possess those much qualities. Not only that, but even we cannot have a list how much divine qualities the Satpurus possess. So how can we acquire all of those qualities? And if we do not acquire all those qualities, then we cannot be said to develop complete satsang in our life. And now we are on the mission to develop a complete satsang. So what we can do in this situation? So if we have acquired 20% of divine qualities from the lives of Satpurus, then it is said we have developed 20% satsang in our life, and still 80% remain to acquire. In the same way, if someone has acquired 50% divine qualities from the lives of Satpurus, then it is said he had acquired only 50% satsang in his life, and still 50% remain. Because we want to develop complete satsang, meaning 100% satsang. Just as, take an example. If you have your hard drive and you want to copy the data from your PC, so what do? You attach your hard drive to the PC, right? So, by attaching this way, you simply copy and paste the data, right? So after some times, after a few minutes, you can get the copy. The same thing what is inside the computer, the same thing after a few minutes you can have in your hard drive. In the same way, if we attach our own self with the Satpurus, and if we give a command copy and paste. Then and then we can get that all of those divine qualities, all his virtues in our life, all divinities, all divine powers, everything. What is the divine happiness or divine bliss he experienced right now? The same divine experience we can feel in our heart. But when only we attach our own self to the Sadgurus. So the association is must. Now after getting this way, we are finding the way how we can acquire all those divine qualities. This is the only way to attach our own self to the Sadgurus. Then and then we can get all of his divine qualities in our life. Now let we read the Vachanamrut. We have read the question asked by Muktanand Swami, but what Sriji Maharaj himself gave the answer. Let we see inside the Vachanamrut. To the question of Muktanand Swami, Sriji Maharaj replied, first of all, such a person has extremely firmly realized his self to be the Atma. Also, he believes his Atma to be absolutely detached from the body, the Indriyas and the Antakaran. He does not believe the actions of the body, Indriyas, etc. to be his own. Despite this, he does not permit even a slight lapse in the observance of the Panchvartman. In this way, Sriji Maharaj gave all the trick, all different points, how we can acquire all divine qualities of Satpurus, meaning how we can develop complete satsang in our life. First, he said to behave as the Atma. Second, even though he had acquired the qualities of Atma, meaning realize the Atma, still he followed the Panchvartman. Moreover, the third quality is Maharaj described in this Vachanamrut is Daspanu, meaning he remained as a servant of all. Fourth one is the Upasana. That is the main important point. And then Divyabhav, Bhakti with Mahima and Seva. This is 7 aspect to becoming a perfect devotee. If we try to imbibe these 7 points in our life, or if we try to live according to these 7 points, then we easily and gradually acquire all those divine qualities of the Satpurus in our life. Meaning we can easily develop complete satsang in our life. So let me see what's first point, behaving as the Atma. Yes, by reading or by listening this point, it is obviously very difficult, right? It is obviously difficult to acquire this quality, behaving as the Atma. Because one who behaves as the Atma, he does not feel the cold and heat. He does not feel hunger or thirst. He does not feel pain or pleasure. But for us, this behaving as the Atma, if we consider only this definition, then this is only dream for us. Right? Because we need food, we need, like if summer we need AC, if it's winter we need a heater. If something happened to us like, oh, today I'm not feeling good. And if something like profitable happened to us, then we become extremely happy. In this way, we have all this like swabha or nature. By default, it was insert in our body. But behaving as the Atma is necessary, most necessary thing in the life of devotees. Why? Because it is written in the sticky note, after behaving as the Atma, one can get the eligibility to worship God. So without acquiring this quality, we do not get the eligibility to worship Bhagwan. So if we want to become a devotee, then we must need to acquire this quality. But even though that is like lots of different ways to acquire this quality, but I find out one of the best and one of the easiest way to behaving as the Atma. It is written in the Vachanamrut, middle chapter 51. Only one who follows the commands of the Satpurus is behaving as the Atma. This is Sriji Maharaj's words. Only one who follows the commands of the Satpurus is called as behaving as the Atma. So it's very simple for us. So now, if you follow the commands given to you by Satpurus, then you have acquired this quality, meaning you are behaving as the Atma. Even though you are feeling thirst and hunger, even though you are feeling pain and pleasure, even though you are need all these necessary things to live, still you are behaving as the Atma. Why? Because this is the words of Sriji Maharaj. And definitely question arises in our mind. Merely by following Satpuru's commands, how one can become or how one can be said as behaving as the Atma? Simple logic is there. Because he is behaving as the Atma and we, our own self, are attached to himself. And that's why we also get his qualities, whether today or tomorrow, whether today or after 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or even at the time of our death. But we definitely can get his qualities. Just as by attaching your hard drive to the PC, you definitely get the data, the same data. In the same way, if we are following his command, meaning Satpuru's command, then definitely we can get these qualities of behaving as the Atma. Whether today someone has like 3.0, someone has 2.0, so that's depend how much time it will take. So in the same way, if one has intense Shraddha, intense faith in the words of Satpurus, then one can very easily and within very minimum time, he can acquire the qualities of Satpurus. Otherwise, if one can have less Shraddha and less faith in the words of Satpurus, then he can maybe consume more time to acquire his qualities. Let us see in the next slide. Second point is 5 religious vows. These 5 religious vows are nothing but just like, if suppose it is very simple, we all knew about these things, like what is Panchvartman. That's why I am not reading this, because you yourself read from the screen. But let me tell you one example. If suppose this is a vacation time, so suppose you are going outside for buying some stationery or buying your new clothes or something from mall, and you are in the mall, there you are very busy, not you are alone in the mall, but you are like thousands of people there, and suddenly the fire alarm was ringing. Not only that, but you also listen some shooting voice, shooting of the guns. After some times, you found some terrorists attack to the people, and they are open firing and killing the people. Now you are in the center. Anyhow, you are trying to hide yourself, like behind the furniture, in the store, underneath the table. But still you do not get any chance to hide yourself. And you are also running with the other people here and there, escaping from the place. So at the same time, while running, you will get 5 soldiers, 5 security personnel with, they possess like advanced weapons, they have advanced like protective gears, all they were well equipped with these all things. And so they even give you surety, do not worry about anything, we are protecting yourself, you just don't worry about anything, you just follow us, we all 5 will help you to escape this danger, escape your death. What would you do? You follow those 5 soldiers, or you are running here and there by yourself? Definitely you follow the soldiers, right? Everyone follow the soldier. The same way, Sriji Maharaj has given these 5 soldiers by giving these 5 religious vows. They are like the 5 soldiers who are protecting us from the Kusang. Kusang from everywhere. We do not guess from which direction the terrorist attack on me, right? The same way, we do not know from which side I can encounter the Kusang. In which form, we don't know about that. But if we follow these 5 religious vows in the form of the soldier, then we definitely save our soul. There is no other way. So, after behaving as the Atma, we must follow these 5 religious vows. Third point is Dasatva. We also need to acquire this quality. Why? Because suppose the definition is written here, what is the Dasatva? What is the behavior of a person who had acquired Dasatva? For the sake of serving his Ishtadev and earning his pleasure, he wishes day and night, if my Ishtadev were to command me, I would follow that command most happily. This is the sentence Sriji Maharaj had spoken in the Vachanamrut, Garuda Middle 62. So this is what we need to follow, Sriji Maharaj's command. But the question arises, we all as a devotee of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, we are following his commands every day, right? But here it is said, he always remained ready, meaning he wishes day and night, if they were to command me, I would follow that command most happily. That is the main important thing, most happily. And only earning his pleasure, meaning Rajipo. Not for any, like if something Bhagwan would give me to do this thing, then I follow his Agnya. No, not like that. But still, try to understand this Dasatva. Let me take another example, another analogy. There were many kids, they need something. Like if they have found iPhone 13, iPhone whatever model, I don't know, but the latest model of iPhone with his friend, immediately he desired to have the same model, even though he had the previous model, right? So what he did, he asked his parent, can I have this model, this iPhone? Because my friend have this, my all friend have this. So why not for me? Then the parents told him, okay, I'll give you the same model, but if you acquire this much, if you score this much grade in the exam, then and then I can give you this phone. Okay, now think what the kid do. He definitely willfully do everything to score the grade, right? Why? He need the iPhone. The same way, if we need something from Bhagwan's Rajibo, or his pleasure, then what cannot we do? We can also do the everything. Some older kids, like someone who has entered into the college for the first year or second year, they have different desire. If their fathers are doctors, then they thought, my friends have this car, Tesla, someone has Mercedes, someone has Porsche, so let me ask my parent, Dad, I also want a new car. Then his father asked him, which one? I have seen used one for you. No, I do not want this, the used one. I want a new one. And I want only the sport car. Because my friend someone has Tesla, someone has Mercedes, someone has BMW, so why not? Once, that is Bhagat in Florida, he asked the same question to his father. And he said, please Dad, give me a Lamborghini. Yes, immediately his father, he was a doctor, so his father, he said, yeah, I'm ready to give you, but only you get only after I can give you the same car, but only after you get the 1600 score in SAT. So, now suppose if you are there, then what would you do? You are reading, you are doing practice day and night for acquiring as much as you can get the score, right? Why? Because you want a new car. In the same way, we also want to acquire 100% satsang in our life, right? So that's why it is said in the Vachanamrut, someone who has Dasatva for the sake of serving his Ishtadeva and earning his pleasure, he wishes day and night, if my Ishtadeva were to command me, I would follow that command most happily. Next, Upasana. Upasana is like our aim, our ultimate goal. So, while doing all this activity, just as the kid or the boy who is doing more practice, more like hard work for scoring more than 1500 score in SAT, definitely not doing that only for acquiring the new car. But he also doing that hard work, practice, not only to get the new car, but also for getting admission in his choice university. Right or wrong? Right. Okay. The same way, we are doing all these satsang activities, kathavartas, worshipping to God, doing bhajan, doing like singing kirtan, everything, whatever we are doing in the satsang, we all are doing only and only for the pleasure of Maharaj. But Maharaj would only become pleased upon us if we don't forget our aim, our ultimate goal, and that is Upasana. Upasana is the main thing in the satsang. Upasana meaning our method of worshipping God. So in this Vachanamrut, first of Loya, meaning while giving the answer to Muktanand Swami, Sriji Maharaj himself used the word the master-servant relationship. This is also an important thing. Because our Upasana based on the Vachanamrut Garda Middle, chapter 13. Pujya Guruji many times, repeatedly, he read this passage or he give us remembrance or reminder in our mind so that we cannot falter our way here and there. We always walk on the straight way to our goal, our ultimate goal. In this Vachanamrut, Sriji Maharaj said, amidst that divine light, I see the extremely luminous form of God. The form is dark, but due to the intensity of the light, it appears to be rather fair, not dark. Moreover, he said, the form has 2 arms and 2 legs, not 4, 8 or 1,000 arms. And its appearance is very captivating. The form is very serene. It has a human form and it appears young like a teenager. This is what the discrimination in the Vachanamrut, Grada Middle, chapter 13. Maharaj said, in the Akshardham, amidst the divine light, there is only one form of Maharaj. And that form has only 2 arms, 2 legs, meaning he has the appearance like that of human. So, these divine words of Maharaj, this gives us the exact description of our ultimate goal. Maharaj's divine form, meaning we all desire to go to Akshardham after death, right? But what is there in Akshardham? So Sriji Maharaj said in this Vachanamrut, because that is our goal. If we thought, what will be there in the Akshardham? Is there only lights? Is there only darkness? What would be there? So if we do not have complete knowledge regarding this topic, then we cannot think for that. So if we have this knowledge, what is there in the Akshardham, so we can definitely think again and again in our mind. Meaning we think for Bhagwan's divine form again and again in our mind. That is called our Upasana. What we think, we will get. Next, Divyabhav. After getting the knowledge regarding the form of Maharaj, meaning Upasana, we must need to keep Divyabhav in that form. Because what happened? Right now, Bhagwan is not in human form in front of us. He is in the form of murtis, right? So, what happened? We do not possess that much advancement in the satsang so that we can listen what he says. He is saying, but we cannot have capacity to listen his divine words. So we definitely bow down to him, doing like performing danvats to him, singing Kirtan in front of him. But suppose he is not in the form of Murti, he is personified form, meaning in human form. Just as he was 200 years ago. The same way he was sitting here in the Singhasan, we are singing Kirtan in front of him, or we are performing danvats to him. And if we are not performing danvats properly, and if he had a stick in his hand and if he throw the stick towards us, then what would you think? I'm doing danvat every day and why are he... Yes, exactly. Not only that, this is just very lightly example, but suppose Bhagwan is here in his personified form. If you give him something to eat, right? And if, without even tasting, he throw the plate on your face, you have worn the very new clothes on that day, and right after offering thought to Bhagwan, you are going to very important meeting to your job. And now after throwing the food onto your mouth, you can definitely wash your mouth, but what's about the clothes? You have no time to change the clothes. What would you think? Is this Bhagwan or what? Right? If suppose, the another example, Bhagwan is here in his personified form, right? And still, some robbers come, like they broke the door, enter the Mandir, and they still stole some donation boxes, and they run away. Next day you come, oh, what's happening? A robbery in the Mandir? No, it's not happened because Bhagwan is there. Then you again got, no, there is robbery in the Mandir. It happened yesterday. See, this door is broken, still not repaired. And see, missing the donation boxes. Then what would you think? If Bhagwan is here, then how he is called a Bhagwan? Why he not stop the robbers? Why he not doing them something? Right? This much question arise in our mind, and that is not called Divyabhav. But still, even though he performs any charitras, any human-like action, and still we firmly believe he is Bhagwan himself. That is called Divyabhav. So, the best example given in the Vachanamrut Panchada, chapter 4, in that Vachanamrut, Sriji Maharaj gave an example of the sun god. If he is in the sky, then we believe he is a god, right? Some perform like pujan of sun god. But if the same sun come to, even slightly come near to earth, then what will happen? Does we remain alive? Everything would burn out, right? Same thing, Bhagwan, if he comes directly from the Akshardham as he is there, then what happened? We cannot understand him. If he shows us like his divine power, then sometimes what happened? We understand if here is the ghost or what. If suppose Bhagwan divinely present here, and we cannot see the divine form of Bhagwan, and Bhagwan directly come from the, like tearing the ceiling, and nothing can be seen, what will you think? Ghost or what? Right? If suppose you are sitting here in the Mandir and automatically door open and close, what would you think? The ghost or Bhagwan? Are you thinking like Bhagwan divinely come, but I cannot see him? Or what? Or you think like there might be a ghost? Right? That's why Bhagwan coming here on this earth in human form. So God suppresses his divinity and becomes exactly like a human, so that his devotees can develop affection for him. He does not exhibit his divinity. His exhibiting divinity would place him in a different category, right? Like a ghost. And as a result, devotees would not be able to develop affection and affinity towards him. It is for this reason that when God appears in human form, he remains extremely wary to ensure the concealment of his own divinity. That's why Bhagwan is not speaking while remaining in the Murti. That's why while staying in the Murti, he is not doing anything. But suppose a devotee offer Bhagwan different things, and if the more salt inside the food or something like very sour, what would Bhagwan do? While staying in the Murti, if Bhagwan like only like doing this thing and third would be down. So that's why Bhagwan is not doing anything while staying in the Murti. And while only he is in the human form, he is performing all his divine, all his actions exactly like that of human. But we must need to keep Divyabhav, divinity, even in all of his divine actions. Now, question arises, why is this point written here? Because we do not have a chance to get Bhagwan in human form. right or wrong? That's the question, right? Okay. But it is, in the Vachanamrut, it is said that we can get Bhagwan in two forms. One is Ashtaprakarni Murti and also in the form of Sant, right? So we have the Satpurus here in place of Maharaj. So the same divinity, if we perceive in the Satpurus, even though he performed like any human-like action, he asks some food, I become very hungry, please give me this food. I like this food too much, I do not like this food, right? I want to use like this car, not this. I like this devotee, not like this devotee. Suppose Pujya Guruji is here and there is like group of devotees here, and in the Sabha he said, this Bhagat, he is not doing good thing. He is very lazy. What do you think? I am doing Seva this much time, like without tiring, I am doing here and there, I am going wherever Santo told me, Bhagat, go there, I immediately go there and give him the reply. And after immediately Santo said, no Bhagat, you should go there. And even though in this way, the whole day I am doing the Seva, and while Puja Guruji told me in the Sabha, like I am lazy. This is called Manushya Bhav, not Divyabhav. So we need to perceive divinity in the Satpurus. That is also important. Never doubt Satpuru's words, never doubt his action. Then and then it is called our Divyabhav remain in the Satpurus and in the Bhagwan's form. Now, Bhakti with Mahima, the next point. Okay, Bhakti with Mahima. This is also an important point, because devotion without understanding the glory is like an attempt without aim. So the question arises, without understanding Mahima, how one can perform Bhakti? Is it possible to perform Bhakti without understanding Mahima? No? Suppose sometimes you are chanting Bhagwan's holy name, Swaminarayan, Swaminarayan, while doing all the activities. At the time, are you the thought for the Mahima, thought of Mahima for Maha Mantra, like if I chant this mantra, then it will give me like divine pleasure, or it will give me more strength to walk on the path of liberation. Does this thought remain in our mind or not? While doing the work and while chanting. Sometimes, but not every time, right? So those times you are not thinking in the same way. That is called Bhakti without understanding Mahima. Sometimes you are reading the book, reading the scripture, but without understanding its importance or without understanding its glory, meaning Mahima. Meaning, like, I am reading the Vachanamrut. Okay, this. But I am only reading this passage from the Vachanamrut only to tell you. That is not my Mahima for the Vachanamrut. If I read this passage of the Vachanamrut, oh, this is the words of Bhagwan himself, then it is called I am performing Bhakti with Mahima. So, Mahima is more important than to perform Bhakti. Suppose we are performing all the rituals, meaning doing Danvat, doing Puja, everything to Thakurji Maharaj. But if we do not understand this is not Murti, this is Bhagwan himself, then this is called Bhakti without Mahima. So we must need to understand this is not idol. made of different metals like gold, silver, something, something, something. But Bhagwan himself giving me darshan in that form, that is called understanding Mahima. There is incident happened many years ago. Puja Guruji was there in Africa, in the country of Kenya. There, in the Mandir, there were 70 to 80 devotees were there. And in front of them, one incident, one divine miracle happened. At the time, if suppose you may know about this, many years ago, there is a news viral in the India and abroad. Like Ganpati was drinking a milk, right? If suppose you try to drink him some milk, meaning offer him some milk, automatically milk disappear in the murti, right? Those things happen in India at the time. So the devotees, they were gathered in their Nairobi in Kenya Mandir. So they were requesting Puja Guruji. After Sabha and after all these things done at the time. So at the time, Thakurji Maharaj was sleeping at night. So they were requesting Puja Guruji, Guruji, we have listened this news from India, like Ganpati is drinking milk. So what's about our Thakurji Maharaj? If we worshipping him as God, then why he not drink milk? Puja Guruji said, yes, Thakurji Maharaj is Bhagwan himself, so he definitely would drink the milk. But this is night time and Bhagwan is sleeping, so we'll offer him the milk in the morning. But the devotees insisted, no, we want to see right now. Puja Guruji asked one of the sons and go to take a shower and woke up Maharaj. So after waking Maharaj up, he came with Maharaj, and meanwhile devotees made some very tasty milk, like 1.5 liters approx. So that much milk they were bring, and Puja Guruji himself, while dipping the spoon, meaning with the spoon, he offered milk, and one after one spoon disappear, meaning Thakurji Maharaj drank all those milk. Yes, in the presence of 70 to 80 devotees, not in the presence of 2 or 3 devotees. Moreover, all the devotees, they also took the love to offer milk to Bhagwan. And with everyone's hand, Maharaj drink the milk. So if we keep this incident in our mind while doing darshan of Thakurji Maharaj, while doing puja, while singing Kirtan in front of him, then it is called Bhakti along with Mahima. Because if we keep this incident in our mind, then what we'll think? We will think like this is Bhagwan himself. This is the same Bhagwan who accepts devotion of his devotees, meaning he had drunk the milk. The same way, what I am offering him Dandvat, so he is accepting. I am singing Kirtan for him, so he is definitely listening my Kirtan. In this way, if we perform Bhakti, that is called Bhakti along with Mahima. So this is what the sequence, one after one, we have seen. And finally, the Seva. Seva is, what is Seva? Seva meaning serve everyone with vibrant and active mood. Not like compulsory, like it is the law, so I have to follow. Not like that. But vibrant and active mood. That is important. And this can help us to develop all the other things, all the other 6 points. Behaving as the Atma, we need to serve, right? Service meaning what? What the Sadguru says, and if we do that, that is called one behaving as the Atma, right? So for that, we need to do Seva. Next point was the five religious vows. So, what is the ritual in our satsang? When you enter the satsang, Sadgurus give you some water into your palm, and he gives you the niyams, these five religious vows. So that means what he said you follow. That is called service. So that is also service. Third one is daspanu. Daspanu meaning you have to serve everyone. You have to listen everyone. You have to follow. Not follow, but you have to perform the religious activity for all the devotees and santo. That is called Seva. Upasana meaning service to Bhagwan, right? Performing Bhakti meaning like sweeping the floor for him, cleanse the utensil for him, making a thard meaning preparing food for him, offering him clothes. This is all types of Seva. Divyabhav, if you perform Seva of everyone, then you will get the strength, satsang strength, to develop or keep Divyabhav in Bhagwan and Satpurus and Santo and Bhakto. Because while serving to others, serving to devotees and Santo, you definitely have to see some swabhavs of the devotees and Santo as well as good qualities. So that's depend upon you what you take, good qualities or their swabhav. And bhakti with mahima. So if you serve the santos and bhaktos, then you definitely develop bhakti along with mahima in your heart. So this is what 7 points Sriji Maharaj given in this Vachanamrut while giving the answer to Muktanand Swami's question. So Swami Shri, we need to say him thanks because he had asked behalf of us. He did not need to develop complete satsang because he is Anadi Mukt. He is the Sarvopari Sant. So he never need this thing. He had already all these things in his life. But only for us, he had asked to Sriji Maharaj. And as he had asked, Sriji Maharaj gave us this 7 point to develop complete satsang. So now, let's we pray to Maharaj, our Adi Gurudev Pujya Swami Shri, all the Sadgurus from our Muktanandiya Parampara, definitely to Pujya Guruji and all the Muktas of Loyadham Parivar. Please Maharaj, Sadguru, Pujya Guruji, all the Santos and Bhaktas of Loyadham Parivar, please grant us to understand what Maharaj says today, and please grant us those much strength to walk on the same path which given and shown us by Sriji Maharaj himself in this Vachanamrut. By saying this, my humble Jai Swaminarayan. Sri Thakur Ji Maharaj Ni Jai. Sri Patim Sri Dharam Sarvadeveshwaram Bhakti Dharmatmajam Vasudevam Harim Madhavam Keshavam Kamadam Karanam Swaminarayanam Neelakantham Bhaje.